Bonjour mes enfants, c'est votre uncle. Oui, c'est Uncle Dan, the Vinyl Man, back with another episode of Uncle Dan's Vintage Vinyl, the last of 2023. Oh, aren't you happy? I'm here today. I want to talk to you. I want to give you some advice. Don't usually give unsolicited advice, but for God's sake, some of you apparently need this advice. And this advice is on how not to be a VASSHOLE. Now, what's a VASSHOLE? Well, the V stands for vinyl, and the rest of it, I figure, you can figure out for yourself. So, I'm going to show you something, and then we're going to have a little quiz. I'm going to show you this. What is the term for this item? And we'll do this with a little quiz here. I'll show you. Is it a record, an LP, an album, or a vinyl? What do you call this thing? Okay. The answer to that, children, is yes. It's any of those. You can call it a record, an LP, an album, or vinyl. What do you have when you have two of them? Do you have two records, two LPs, two albums, two vinyls? The answer is yes to all of them. So is the term vinyl a countable term or an uncountable term? That is it like record, or is it like something like, say, deer or fish? The answer to that is also yes, because you can call them vinyls. This is a vinyl, and this is a vinyl. You have two vinyls. Which sentence is correct? I bought some new vinyl today. Or, I bought some new vinyls today. The answer is yes. Both are correct. You hear someone say, or you see someone write, I bought some new vinyls today, with the S on the end. What do you say in response? Do you say, no, you bought some new records or LPs today. Vinyls is not a word. Or do you say, that's great, what did you buy? The answer is B. You say, that's great. What did you buy? I've seen online a number of people taking people to task for using the term vinyls as a plural term, with vinyl meaning one record and vinyls meaning more than one record. It doesn't matter. The language is changing. The nature of English is that it's always changing. The nature of pretty much any language is that it's always evolving. Only the dead languages no longer evolve. English is evolving. Don't worry about it if people are using vinyls as a plural. I have seen people using it online multiple times. I even saw it in the wild a couple of weeks ago, or a week or so ago, at a guitar center in Bloomington, Minnesota. A guy came in and said, do you have any used vinyls or just new vinyls? And the guy said, we don't carry any used. And he said, okay. And the guy who was asking the question was not a kid, nor was he apparently a second language, English as a second language speaker. He was your basic white guy, looked to be like late 30s into his mid 40s. He was actually asking, he did mention that he was asking because he wanted to buy a present for his kid. And he was looking for something that was used. So anyway, it doesn't matter. The language is changing. It's not a big deal. And let it go. Try not to be a VASSHOLE, folks. this is perhaps my first. There are other ways in which we in the vinyl community can avoid being vassals, and I may bring more of those to you. Oh, aren't you so happy? Anyway, this is Uncle Dan, the Vinyl Man, wishing you as always, mes enfants, au revoir, et aussi à bientôt. This is a postscript. I suspect that some of you may say, Uncle Dan, you don't know what you're talking about. Uncle Dan knows what he's talking about. I have bachelor's and master's degrees in English. I did 2 years on the PhD. I spent 10 years editing scholarly books for university presses. In that regard, I was very familiar with the Chicago Manual of Style, Strunk and White's Elements of Style, Fowler's Modern English Usage. I have taught writing, or I taught writing at various times from 1979 through 2016. I've taught freshman composition, creative writing, technical writing. No, I didn't teach technical writing. I take that back. I take that back. But I did teach creative writing. I taught another writing course I'm forgetting about. I've taught legal writing, including advanced legal writing, appellate legal writing. I'm a published author. I've published a couple of short stories in journals. I've published poetry in journals, and by journals I mean actual journals, not the journals I have at home. And so published poetry, and so. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I doubt that any of you out there has quite the background in editing in particular that I have. And it was a very stringent background. When I took the exam to be a freelance copy editor for the University of California Press, the editor there, and the managing editor in charge of us, said that 5% of the people who took the exam passed the exam. It was a very difficult exam. So, yeah, I do know what I'm talking about in regard to writing, so in regard to English prose style. So, maybe you've got more background in it than I do. I very much doubt it, but even if you do have more background than I do, I suspect you're going to say, yeah, Uncle Dan, you're right. Otherwise, don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, and don't tell me anyway, because, yeah, I do. Okay. Au revoir.